Then Srila Sutta Goswami talks about other inquiries in relation to Parikshit Maharaj about his birth, activities, renunciation, and death. So, in order to describe his birth, so he starts from the point where Mahabharata ended. So, at the end of the Mahabharata, all the warriors are slain. Duryodhana, his thighs broken, fell flat on the battleground. Then, following the instructions of Duryodhana, Ashwatthama, in the dead of night, killed the 5 sleeping sons of Draupadi. In the morning, when they realized that the 5 sleeping sons are dead, Draupadi was lamenting. At that time, Arjuna comes and pacifies Draupadi, saying that, my dear Draupadi, do not lament. I will go and catch that Brahmabandhu who mercilessly killed the sleeping warriors. I will cut off his head and bring it here. Having performed the final rites of your sons, may you stand on the head of that Brahmabandhu and take bath. Do not lament. Saying that, Arjuna summoned Lord Krishna with his chariot, and both Lord Krishna and Arjuna traveled on the chariot. As they are pursuing after Ashwatthama, understanding that my death is certain, Ashwatthama released Brahmastra for his own protection. So since Ashwatthama is not in the vicinity, but in the entire ether is filled with a lot of heat and radiation, Arjuna asked Lord Krishna, my dear Krishna, where from this intense heat and radiation is coming? Please tell me. You are the Lord of all the beings. You are the Lord who can award fearlessness to the surrendered soul. Bhaktanam Abhayankara. It is you from whom comes the fearlessness to the living entities and complete satisfaction for the living entities. So please tell me where from this intense heat is coming up. Then Lord Krishna says in today's verse, Vetedam Dronaputrasya Brahmam Asram Pradarshitam. This intense heat and radiation is nothing but the display of the Brahmastra thrown by Ashwatthama. So, my dear Arjuna, you know how to withdraw it. By throwing your own Brahmastra, may you kindly withdraw it. So Arjuna, throwing his own Brahmastra, withdraws the Brahmastra of Ashwatthama, understanding that this Brahmastra will destroy the entire universe. Having withdrawn that Brahmastra, Arjuna binds Ashwatthama and throws him in his chariot. Then Lord Krishna says that, why are you taking him along with you? You have already promised Draupadi that you will cut off his head. So this person is not fit for compassion. Please kill him immediately and take the head of Ashwatthama to Draupadi as you promised. But Arjuna was not. He did not do that. He took Ashwatthama in front of Draupadi. Seeing Ashwatthama, Draupadi comes in front of him, offers respectful obeisances and tells Arjuna, so my dear Arjuna, it is not fit for Ashwatthama to be bound like an animal because he is son of our Guru Drona. He is as good as Drona, from whom we have learned all the weaponry. He should be respected as good as Drona. Since Ashwatthama is alive, Krupi, the wife of Drona, did not enter Sati. So by killing him, do not cause misery to Krupi. Because by the death of my sons, I am going through intense misery. I don't want to see Krupi also to go through same misery. Please release him and let him free. So then Yudhishthir, Nakula, Sahadeva, Krishna also says, yes, whatever Draupadi said, right. But Bhima says, no. This killer of the innocent sleeping children is not fit for mercy. He is supposed to be killed immediately. He is only a Brahmabandhu, he is not a Brahmana. Brahmana should not be punished. But a Brahmabandhu should be punished. Immediately should be punished. Then Lord Krishna comes in between, pacifies both Arjuna, Bhima and Draupadi and Arjuna and Yudhishthira, everyone, and says that, my dear Arjuna, you have to fulfill the promises that you made to Draupadi that you will cut off the head of Ashwatthama and give it to Draupadi. At the same time, you have to fulfill the desire of Draupadi that Ashwatthama should let free with life. Yudhishthira and Nakul Sahadev, at the same time, you should also fulfill the demand of Bhima. Bhima says he should be punished. He should be killed. And Shastra says that Atatayana should be punished. The aggressor who kills children or innocent beings should be punished, or sleeping should be punished. At the same time, a Brahmana should not be punished. Should also follow the instructions of Shastra. So following the instructions of Lord Krishna, Arjuna actually removes the jewel that is there on the forehead of Ashwatthama, because of which Ashwatthama becomes very effulgent and full of energy, and also shaves his head, just like Lord Krishna shaved Rukmi. So then Arjuna let him free. So Arjuna, Shastra says that for a respectable person, insult is as good as death. So in a way, by removing the jewel on the forehead and the hair from the head, Arjuna insulted Ashwatthama thoroughly. That is as good as death for him. So unable to tolerate the insult, Ashwatthama releases another Brahmastra in order to destroy the 5 Pandavas and their last remnant, Parikshit, who is there in the womb of Uttara. So that Brahmastra dividing into 6 arrows, chasing after the 5 Pandavas and the womb of Uttara. Then Uttara suddenly comes to Lord Krishna, prays to Lord Krishna, please save me from this arrow following after me in order to destroy me. Even though if I have to die, let me die, but please save my son. So that was the prayer by Uttara. Understanding that there is not sufficient time for Arjuna to release another Brahmastra to counteract this Brahmastra, Lord Krishna himself with his Sudarshan Chakra, he counteracted the 5 arrows which are chasing after the 5 Pandavas, and that arrow which is entering into the womb of Uttara, Lord Krishna immediately entered into the womb of Uttara, and by his own potency nullified that Brahmastra and saved Parikshit Maharaj. So this is how, eventually later on when right time comes, Parikshit Maharaj appears. So during this entire episode when Lord Krishna entered into the womb of Uttara in order to save that Brahmastra, Ashwatthama saw Lord Krishna. Angushta Matan Mamalam. So Lord Krishna appeared with the size of the thumb, and Parikshit Maharaj saw that form of Lord Krishna in the womb of Uttara only. So eventually Parikshit Maharaj takes birth, etc. So this is how the entire event has been narrated very nicely in Srimad Bhagavatam. So these are the various subsequence of events about the birth of Parikshit Maharaj. The same story is narrated in Srimad Mahabharat, little differently, going into more details. So in the Mahabharat, though we see here that Ashwatthama is criticized by Krishna, criticized by Bhima so severely, and we can see that why Ashwatthama did this kind of heinous act from Mahabharat more clearly. So whatever time left with us, we'll try to see from the point of view of Mahabharat this entire pastime of the birth of Parikshit Maharaj. So Mahabharata says that when the surface of the earth is overburdened by the demoniac kings, Mother Earth took shelter of Lord Brahma. Lord Brahma took Mother Earth to Kshirosagar, praying to Lord Vishnu in order to reduce the burden of Mother Earth. Then Lord Vishnu suggests that very soon I will appear through the womb of Devaki in the house of Vasudeva. So may all of you also take birth in various dynasties, kingly dynasties, so that all of you can assist in my pastimes. That time, following the instructions of Lord Vishnu, the various devatas, various heavenly residents have appeared on the surface of earth. So, Brihaspati made his appearance through Bharadwaja. So one time, Bharadwaja, having seen a Apsara known as Gritachi, just by being attracted to the beauty of Gritachi, he discharged his semen. So that semen was kept in a drone, a leaf plate. Eventually, by his potency, he transformed that semen into a male person. That person is known as Drona, who is none other than Brihaspati himself appeared as Drona in order to take part in the pastimes of Lord Krishna. And Simultaneously at the same time, there is another great sage known as Sharadvan. One time, he also looking at the beauty of Urvashi. He also discharged semen on some kind of kusha grass. Then eventually that semen transformed into twins known as Kripa and Krupi. At one point of time, Shantanu, who went on hunting, he saw these two children were crying in the forest. He brought them home, nurtured them, and took care of them. And eventually Krupa became the family guru of entire Bharata dynasty, eventually known as Kuru dynasty. And his sister Krupi was given in marriage to Drona. After marrying Krupi, Dronacharya, with the intent of having a son, performed severe austerities to please Lord Shiva. And eventually, when Lord Shiva appeared in front of Drona, Drona requested for a boon, saying that, "My dear Lord, may I have a son who is as valiant as you, as famous as you, and long-lived." For which Lord Shiva becomes very much pleased, and Lord Shiva blesses Drona with a son known as Ashwatthama. So from Mahabharata we understand that Ashwatthama is not different from an Amsha of Lord Shiva himself. Lord Shiva is the in charge of the destruction of the entire universe that has been created by Lord Vishnu and maintained by Lord Brahma. So Ashwatthama represents the destructive principle of Lord Shiva, and is endowed with long life. That's why he is called as Chiranjeevi. Generally, a person who can live for the duration of one Manvantara is called Amara. The Devatas will live for the duration of one Manvantara. They are called Amara. And those people who live for more than one Manvantara are at max for the entire day of Brahma. They are called as Chiranjeeva. Ashwatthama is one such Chiranjeeva who could live more than one Manvantara, who could live for the entire duration of the day of Brahma. So he is born with that blessing. Like that, there are many more Chiranjeevas as we hear in our Vedic literatures. Krupa is also one such Chiranjeeva. Hanumanji is another Chiranjeeva. Vibhishana is another Chiranjeeva. So like that, there are various personalities also known as Chiranjeevas. So here, Drona actually worshipped Lord Shiva with an intent to have a son who is valiant, who is famous, who is supposed to become famous. He worshipped Lord Shiva with a desire to have a son with full of desires. And Mahabharata explains that this personality known as Ashwatthama is an Amsha of Lord Shiva, is also an Amsha of Mrityu Devata, and is also personified form of Kama and Krodha, lust and anger. We can see the entire life of Ashwatthama, see that he is full of material desires. He always filled with so many desires. We can see the reason also. Because Drona being a Brahmana, he followed Silonchana Vritti, known as he does not even beg for his sustenance. If something comes on its own accord, he would accept and live by it. He would collect grains which are fallen on the paddy field and fruits which are fallen in the forest, or the flour which is fallen in the flour mill, etc., etc. With that only would sustain his family. So since his son in need of milk, his mother, Krupi, would mix some wheat flour with some water and would give to Ashwatthama, saying that this is milk, please have it. So thinking it to be milk, Ashwatthama would have it every day. Eventually, one day he was actually given real milk by some of his friends. Then he understood that his parents are cheating him. He came home and asked his parents, "How can you cheat me all these days? You are saying me that by giving wheat flour, you are saying me this is milk. This is not milk. I want milk from today onwards. I don't want to have this wheat flour anymore." So understanding the requirement of Ashwatthama, Dronacharya goes on searching for a cow. Then he understands from Brahmanas that Parashuram was giving away whatever he had to all the Brahmanas who ever come to him. By the time Dronacharya visited Parashuram, Parashuram already gave up everything that he possessed to all the Brahmanas, the land, cows, everything. Then when Drona approached seeking some alms, Parashurama told that, I don't have anything to give you. I have 3 things to give you. You chose whatever you want. The first one is myself. I can give myself to you. Or I can give my weapon Parashu to you. Or I can give you my knowledge, the knowledge of weapons to you. Whatever you want, you take. Then after deliberation, so I cannot take Parashuram. He is the Lord worthy of worship. I cannot take weapon also. Because this weapon is detrimental. Having the weapon, person becomes crazy. I don't want. I want the knowledge. Then Lord Parashuram taught the complete knowledge to Drona. All the knowledge of all the weaponry to Drona. Then, remembering in the childhood days, that during my childhood in my Gurukul, in the Gurukul of my father, when myself and Drupada were studying under Bharadwaja, Drupada had promised me that later on, when he becomes king, he would give half the kingdom to Drona. So I don't need half the kingdom, I just need one cow. Then Drona goes to Drupada saying that, my dear friend, you promised me half the kingdom, but I just need one cow for my child. Please give me one cow. Drupada insults, how can you ask? The friendship is gone away. Now how can we be friends? So he insulted Drona thoroughly. Drona feels very sad. I can defeat you right now, but I don't want to do that. Because I'm a Brahmana, I'm supposed to be self-controlled, self-restrained. I cannot do that. I came here asking for a cow so that I can give milk to my son. I'll make sure that my son will get half of your kingdom. Drona came with the intention to get a cow for cow milk. But he went away saying that, I will get half of your kingdom for my son. Drona is a Brahmana, Ashwatthama is a Brahmana. How can they become Kshatriyas? But Drona sowed that seed of changing Ashwatthama from Brahmana to a Kshatriya. He went, trained Pandavas, Kauravas. Eventually, with the help of Pandavas, he defeated Drona, took away half the kingdom of Drona, gave it to Ashwatthama, made him king. Generally, a person as a brahmachari not supposed to rule a kingdom. Only a grihastha is allowed to rule a kingdom. But Ashwatthama continued to rule the kingdom in spite of being a brahmachari. That is another mistake from the point of view of Ashwatthama. Eventually from Mahabharata we see that after gambling match when Pandavas lost their kingdom known as Indraprastha when they went to forest, Dronacharya was given the responsibility of taking care of Indraprastha. He took care of Indraprastha for 13 long years. Dronacharya, who was previously following Silonchana Vritti, living on by collecting the food grains left over on the paddy field, he does not even beg. He made his son as a king, he himself became king. Both of them who were supposed to be Brahmanas, they are no more Brahmanas now. Eventually, they participated in the battle of Mahabharata, siding Kauravas, siding Adharma. On the 13th day, Ashwatthama and Drona took part in the evil plan of Shakuni and Duryodhana in order to kill Abhimanyu irreligiously. The next day, Arjuna killed Jayadratha. And the next day, Pandavas killed Drona, in the sense, by speaking that lie, Ashwatthama, Adha, Narova, Kunjarova. Yudhishthira Maharaj had to say that by the request of Lord Krishna. When Ashwatthama understood that these Pandavas have become so irreligious, so shameless for the sake of kingdom, they happened to kill their guru by speaking lies. The Pandavas are not fit for living anymore. Thinking that he's thrown Agneya Astra, Arjuna nullified it. He thrown Narayana Astra. Krishna requested everyone to bow down. That Astra also nullified. Ashwatthama felt dissatisfied. I have whatever I have, everything I thrown. They are not in dying. What is this? Vyasdev comes and tells, you cannot kill them because Lord Krishna is Narayana and Arjuna is Nara. And the Pandavas under the shelter of Lord Krishna. You cannot kill them. Ashwatthama for some time he becomes dazed and goes home. The next day, on the 16th day, Dushasana was brutally killed. 17th day, Karna was killed. 18th day, Duryodhana was not killed completely, but almost killed. Seeing all these things, Ashwatthama becomes very insane. Hey, what are these Pandavas doing one sin after the other, one sin after the other? They killed my father religiously. They killed Dushasana, they killed Karna, they killed Duryodhana religiously. Because he has lost good sense of understanding. As we hear in Bhagavad Gita, Dhyato Visham Bhumsha Sangaste Shubhajate Sanga Sanjayate Kama Krodod Sanjayate Kamat Bhavati Krodat Bhavati Sammoha Sammohat Pratibhamshat Buddhinasha Buddhinashat Pranashati. So all these things we can see in Ashwatthama. He is only seeing the faults of Pandavas, but why they are doing he is not seeing. Seeing all these things, he comes to Duryodhana, says that I would like to eliminate the Pandavas. Duryodhana says, I will make you commander-in-chief, go and do it. And as Ashwatthama was going, he called Krupa and one more person is alive. 3 people only alive in that army. Said that we are going in the dead of night and killing the Pandavas, and we have to kill the Pandavas. Then Krupa said that, okay, let us take rest now, and tomorrow morning we kill them completely. So while they are taking rest under the banyan tree, in the dead of night, the tree is filled with so many crows that are sleeping. Immediately, owl comes from the top, attacks on the sleeping crows, killing them. Ashwatthama gets an idea. Now the Pandavas are sleeping like crow. Let me attack them like a owl. He tells Krupacharya, let us do it immediately. Krupacharya scolds him, you should not do this. We'll kill Pandavas tomorrow, no problem, we'll assist you. We should not do anything in the night, dead of night. Ashwatthama says that, I am the commander-in-chief, you should follow me. Duryodhana assigned me as the commander-in-chief, I am instructing you both to follow me. I will go into the camp of Pandavas, they must be sleeping. I'll kill them. And you, whoever comes out of the camp, kill them. So, Krupacharya and the other person, both of them are guarding on the camp. Ashwatthama goes inside. As he was going inside, immediately he sees a black-looking personality. That was Lord Shiva. And Lord Shiva gives a sword to Ashwatthama, saying that it is the time for their death. Please take this sword and destroy them. So, Ashwatthama prays to Lord Shiva, takes that sword. As soon as he took that sword, he develops intense energy. Then he goes into the camp. First of all, he kills Shikandi. Because it is because of Shikandi, Bhishma was killed, according to Ashwatthama, irreligiously. And then he cuts off the head of Drushtadrumna. And according to Ashwatthama, Drushtadrumna irreligiously killed my father, cut off the neck of my father when my father sat in meditation, who is not supposed to be killed. He kills him. Then he enters into the camp of Pandavas. But that day, Lord Krishna took 5 Pandavas to the camp of Kauravas. The 5 sons of the 5 Pandavas were sleeping in that camp. Thinking that these 5 are the 5 sons of Pandavas, thinking them that to be 5 Pandavas, Ashwatthama cut off their necks instantly, one after the other. Collecting those 5 heads, he takes them to Duryodhana. And Duryodhana understands these are not the 5 heads of Pandavas, instead their sons. So for a moment, Duryodhana feels very sad. How could you do this heinous act? You killed the remnants of the Pandava, the entire Kuru dynasty. Now Kuru dynasty is gone forever. So feeling like that, Duryodhana left his body. Ashwatthama is not happy. How can I do this? I mean, how can I not kill Pandavas? I should kill Pandavas, like that he was thinking. But he understands that I have killed 5 sons of Pandavas. Krishna and Arjuna does not leave me alive. Thinking thus, he immediately fled from that place, goes to the ashram of Vyasadeva. He took shelter of Vyasadeva. In the next morning, understanding what had happened in the night, Draupadi was crying helplessly. Arjuna solaces her, saying that I will go and kill Ashwatthama, then only you stop crying. Then Bhima on one chariot, Arjuna and Krishna another chariot, they goes to catch Ashwatthama. Seeing Ashwatthama, Bhima goes very fast to catch Ashwatthama. But understanding that my death is certain, Ashwatthama throws a Brahmastra in order to destroy Bhima, Krishna, Arjuna and all the entire universe. If I am going to die, what is the use of this entire universe to remain? Let the entire universe be destroyed along with me. Thinking thus, he threw a Brahmastra. Then understanding that Ashwatthama threw a Brahmastra, Krishna instructs Arjuna, may you also throw another Brahmastra to counteract it. Arjuna also throws another Brahmastra. Then Vyasa comes in between and stops both the Brahmastras, saying that, please, this is not the time for destruction of the universe. Kindly withdraw your both Brahmastras. Arjuna withdraws his Brahmastra, following the instructions of Vyasa. Then Ashwatthama says that, I cannot withdraw Brahmastra. Because in the Gurukul, when the Pandavas and Kauravas were learning from Ashwatthama, initially with the intent of making Ashwatthama the great archer, Drona was teaching everything to Ashwatthama. But eventually understood that it is Arjuna who is showing superior qualities of a disciple. Then he slowly transformed his affection towards Arjuna. He began to show special favor to Arjuna, teaching everything. So during that time, as Arjuna was taught all these special weapons such as Brahmastra and other weapons, Karna and Ashwatthama approached Drona. So my dear Guru and my dear father, please teach us the same weapons. So Drona says that, Karna, you are not fit to be learnt all these divine weapons. Because all these divine weapons are only meant for a Kshatriya who is supposed to be ruling the kingdom. They are not meant for a person who has the ambition to be known as the best of the archers. You are not fit for this weapon. Drona did not teach Karna all these special weapons. So in order to become known as a special person, Karna went to Lord Parashuram and learnt all these weapons. That is a different story. Even Ashwatthama also approached Dronacharya seeking the knowledge of these special weapons. Because of special affection for Ashwatthama, he began to teach Ashwatthama the weapon, Brahmastra. But in the middle understood that Ashwatthama is not self-controlled. I cannot teach him this weapon completely. He only taught half and left it behind. So Ashwatthama only how to throw the weapon or how to redirect that weapon to some other place. He cannot know, he does not know how to withdraw the weapon, how to nullify the Brahmastra weapon. He is not having complete knowledge of that Brahmastra weapon. Only Arjuna knows it. Even when Vyasdeva requested Ashwatthama, please withdraw that weapon and nullify it. Ashwatthama says, I don't know how to do it. Then Vyasa asks, what do you know? I can only direct it somewhere else. So then do that, Vyasa says. Then following the instructions of Vyasa, Ashwatthama redirects that weapon to Parikshit Maharaj, who is still situated in the womb of Uttara, who is there in the camp of Pandavas. The weapon immediately goes to Pandavas' camp, enters into the womb of Uttara, and kind of destroys the embryo of Parikshit Maharaj. Understanding what is happening within her womb, Uttara immediately prays to Lord Krishna. Understanding what is happening there, Lord Krishna immediately manifests himself within the womb of Uttara and protects or rejuvenates the burnt body of Parikshit Maharaj. Thus, Lord Krishna protects Parikshit Maharaj within the womb of Uttara. And at the same time, here, Arjuna throwing another weapon captures Ashwatthama. Then, Arjuna wanted to take Ashwatthama to the camp of Pandavas. Then Krishna said that he is not fit to be taken there. He is very heinous person. Kill him immediately. Then Arjuna said that no, I cannot kill him. I want Yudhishthir Maharaj's judgment. Whatever Yudhishthir Maharaj says, I will do that. I cannot take a decision on my own. But Krishna says he cannot be left as it is. But still Arjuna insists that he should be brought in front of Yudhishthir. Yudhishthir says that he is fit to be a Brahmana, he cannot be killed. Please do something so that he can be insulted. So Arjuna, following the instruction, he removes that jewel and shaves him abruptly and leaves him. But when Pandavas went back to their camp, Krishna comes in front of Ashwatthama, says that you are born as a Brahmana. You are supposed to be remaining as a Brahmana. But your father made you as a Kshatriya. But losing discrimination, you acted so insanely that you not even have the discrimination that you should not kill an infant child in the womb of a mother. You acted so heinously, for which I curse you that for the next 3000 years, may the wound made by the removal of the jewel by Arjuna will continue to downpour the pus. May your body continue to produce the foul smelling so that none of the person will come close to you. May you continue to wander the desert, desolate forest, without having any association of any other being with you. May you continue to suffer for this heinous act for 3000 years. Then with proper repentance, proper tapasya, may you be freed from this curse. So saying that, Lord Krishna also goes back to the camp of Pandavas. So because Ashwatthama is a Chiranjeevi, he cannot be killed. But he goes through the punishment of this particular foul-smelling body, continuously oozing pus, etc. for 3000 years. Afterwards, going through repentance and penance, he becomes like discriminative person. Then he takes shelter of Vyasadeva. Currently, he is still there in Badrikashram as the disciple of Vyasadeva. And this Ashwatthama will be the next Vyasa. For the next Kali Yuga, he will write all the Vedic literature. Jai Sri Radha Gopinath ki Jai. Just like the current Vyasa compiled all the Vedic literature, this Ashwatthama will compile all the Vedic literature for the next Kali Yuga. And during the next Manvantara, he will become one of the Saptarishis because he is Chiranjeeva. So this is the life of Ashwatthama in relation to the current pastime we are discussing here in Bhagavatam. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Anantakoti Vaishnava Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai.